I will activate your mind to manifest anything imagined. For a moment, that everything you desire already exists. The car you want, the home you dream of, the life you long to live, all are real and waiting for you to acknowledge them. Not in some far-off future, not somewhere in the distant clouds, but right now, in the unseen realm where your mind dwells. Your mind is not a passive receiver of life's circumstances. It is the very creator of your reality. And today, I am here to awaken that creative power within you, to activate your mind so you may manifest anything you truly desire. The mind is the seedbed of all creation. Before a tree grows, before a house is built, before a new relationship blooms, there is a seed of thought, a conception in the unseen world. The law that governs manifestation is as sure and unchanging as the rising of the sun. What you impress upon your mind with vividness and feeling, you bring into being. To manifest anything, you must learn to see with the eye of the imagination, and more importantly, to feel as if your desire is already fulfilled. Many spend their lives looking outward, hoping that the external world will change to suit their wishes. But the outer world is a reflection of your inner world. It is not the external circumstances that shape you. Rather, it is your inner concept of yourself and your world that shapes your experience. When you understand this, you realize that the power to change your life lies not in changing people, places, or things, but in changing your thinking, your feeling, and your imagining. You may ask, how can I activate my mind to manifest anything? The answer lies in the profound understanding that your consciousness is creative. Your imagination is not a mere pastime or a mental escape. It is the workshop where your future is fashioned. When you engage your imagination with purpose, feeling, and faith, you begin to operate as the master of your reality. First, you must learn to discipline your thoughts. What you dwell upon, you invite into your life. It is not enough to wish or hope. You must know with certainty that what you desire is already yours. This knowing comes from assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. To assume a state means to live, think, and feel from the end result you desire. Feel yourself already possessing that which you seek. Feel the joy, the peace, the satisfaction, as though your desire has been fulfilled in this present moment. This is not mere fantasy. This is the law of your being. You must not wait for the evidence of your desire in the physical world before you believe. You must believe before you see. To manifest anything, your inner conviction must precede the outer proof. When you believe and feel deeply, your subconscious mind receives this impression and begins to reorganize your circumstances to match your inner reality. Many fail to manifest because they harbor doubt and disbelief. They allow their conscious mind to be overwhelmed by the seeming impossibility of their desires. They look at the current reality and think it is unchangeable. But the truth is, reality is fluid and constantly reshaped by your consciousness. What you have now is the effect of your past imagining. Change your imagining, and you change your reality. Your subconscious mind is the silent servant of your conscious commands. It acts upon the impressions you give it without question. Therefore, it is vital to guard your thoughts and feelings, for these are the commands you give to your subconscious. If you fill your mind with worry, fear, or negativity, you will manifest more of these. But if you fill your mind with faith, confidence, and vivid imagining of your desired outcome, your subconscious will work tirelessly to bring it forth. To activate your mind to manifest anything, you must also cultivate a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude is the recognition of the good already present and the good that is coming. When you express gratitude, you align yourself with the flow of abundance. Gratitude creates an energy that attracts more blessings into your life. It is the acknowledgement that what you desire is not beyond your reach, but is already on its way to you. Another essential practice is to live in the end. This means to carry yourself mentally and emotionally as though your desire has been realized. Do not postpone your joy or peace until after the manifestation. Feel it now. Imagine the conversations, the sights, the sounds, and the emotions associated with having what you want. When you do this, you impress upon your subconscious a clear blueprint of your desire, and it begins to work toward making it real. Your imagination is a sacred gift. It is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. It is the power that can transform your life from struggle to triumph. The more you use your imagination consciously, the stronger your manifestation power becomes. Do not underestimate the simple act of imagining. In fact, it is the most potent creative act you can perform. Your thoughts and feelings are like seeds planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious. They will sprout and grow into experiences and realities. There is no limitation to what you can manifest, for your imagination is infinite. You are not bound by time, space, or circumstance. The only limits that exist are the ones you impose on yourself by disbelief or lack of faith. Understand that you are a living magnet, attracting to you the conditions and people that match your inner state. Change your inner state, and the world around you will change accordingly. Sometimes the mind resists change because it clings to familiar patterns and fears the unknown. This is natural, but you must learn to transcend the limits of the old mindset. Step into the realm of new possibilities by daring to imagine boldly. Do not settle for less than your heart's true desire. Your dreams are a reflection of your divine potential, and your imagination is the vehicle that brings those dreams into manifestation. Visualize yourself now, in the place where your desires have been fulfilled. See the environment, the people around you, and most importantly, the feelings you experience. Feel the satisfaction, the peace, the excitement of living your dream life. Immerse yourself fully in this mental scene. Repeat this often, especially before sleep and upon waking, for these are the moments when your subconscious is most receptive. Do not be discouraged if your manifestation does not appear immediately in the physical world. Time and space obey a different rhythm than the inner world. Your job is to maintain the feeling of the wish fulfilled with unwavering faith and patience. Let go of the how and when. These questions come from the doubting mind. Trust that the unseen forces are aligning to bring your desire into form. Every successful manifestation story began with a clear, definite imagining, followed by persistent faith. The world you see around you is the visible expression of countless imaginal acts performed by those who came before you. You have the same creative power within you. Nothing is new under the sun. The only difference is that you must claim your creative authority consciously. Do not be a victim of circumstances. Do not blame the past or others for what you have or have not in your life. Take full responsibility for your mental states, for they are the cause of all your experiences. Empower yourself by understanding that your mind is the source of all power. Activate your mind daily with positive, purposeful imagining. Feed it only with thoughts and feelings that serve your highest good. In this process, you may discover that some desires are not truly yours, but have been imposed by society, family, or peers. To manifest with power, your desires must come from within. Be genuine expressions of your soul. When your desire aligns with your true self, manifestation flows effortlessly. Remember, the world you see is not fixed. It is a mirror reflecting your state of consciousness. Change your inner vision, and the reflection will change. The creative process begins in the mind, proceeds through feeling, and culminates in physical reality. When you activate your mind, you are engaging with the infinite creative power of the universe. Practice mental discipline by choosing your thoughts carefully. Replace negative or limiting beliefs with positive affirmations and imaginal acts. For example, instead of saying, "I cannot afford this," say, "I am attracting unlimited abundance." Imagine yourself living in abundance, feeling it as real and present. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between real or imagined experiences. It accepts what you impress upon it as fact. Therefore, it is crucial to rehearse your desired outcome with conviction. Make your imaginal scenes as vivid and detailed as possible. Engage all your senses. See, hear, touch, smell, and feel the reality of your fulfilled desire. In addition to imagination and feeling, your mind's creative power is strengthened by faith. Faith is not blind belief, but the assurance born from repeated success. As you practice manifesting smaller desires, your faith grows. This faith becomes an unshakable foundation upon which you can build larger manifestations. Never underestimate the power of persistence. Sometimes your desires may seem to delay, but perseverance is the key. Continue to imagine, feel, and believe. Do not be distracted by temporary setbacks or discouragement. Remember, every manifestation is preceded by a process in the unseen realm. The act of gratitude can also accelerate manifestation. When you express genuine gratitude for what you have and for what is coming, you align with the vibration of abundance. Gratitude opens the door for more blessings. It signals to the subconscious mind that you are ready and deserving. You are a creator, a divine artist painting the canvas of your life. Your thoughts are the brushstrokes. Your feelings are the colors. With every imaginal act, you shape the masterpiece of your existence. The power to manifest anything lies dormant within you, waiting to be awakened by your conscious effort. Start now. Take a moment to quiet your mind and envision your heart's deepest desire. See it clearly, feel it fully, and hold it gently in your awareness. Repeat this practice daily, until the inner conviction becomes unshakable. Know that you are never alone in this creative endeavor. The infinite intelligence of the universe responds to your commands. It rearranges circumstances, inspires ideas, and attracts the right people and opportunities to manifest your desire. Trust in this invisible cooperation. As you activate your mind, you will notice a shift. Your thoughts become more positive, your feelings more joyful, and your life begins to reflect your inner transformation. Opportunities appear, synchronicities increase, and your manifestation unfolds naturally. You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. Do not let the opinions or limitations of others dim your creative light. Your mind is a powerful magnet, drawing to you all that matches your dominant thoughts and feelings. Choose wisely what you focus upon. To manifest anything, you must activate your mind by imagining clearly, feeling deeply, believing unwaveringly, and persisting patiently. Your mind is a creative furnace that burns with the fire of desire, fueled by imagination and faith. When you learn to harness this power, you unlock the door to unlimited possibilities. Embrace your role as a conscious creator. Take control of your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. Feed your mind with visions of success, happiness, and fulfillment. Live daily as if your desire is already yours. This is the secret that transforms dreams into reality. Manifestation is not magic. It is the natural function of your consciousness. You hold within you the key to every door you wish to open. Activate your mind now, and watch the world respond in kind. The life you desire is waiting for you, ready to be claimed. Step boldly into your power and manifest anything you choose. As you progress on this journey of conscious creation, you begin to notice that the mind is like a garden. It requires constant tending. The seeds you plant in your imagination will grow according to the attention and care you give them. If you neglect your mental garden or allow weeds of doubt and fear to grow unchecked, the fruits of your desires will be stunted or fail to appear altogether. But when you nurture your mind with faith, vision, and positive expectancy, your manifestations grow strong and abundant. It is essential to understand the subtle difference between desire and need. Desire is the spark of your imagination, the creative impulse calling you to new experiences and growth. Need is a feeling of lack, a vacuum of insufficiency. Manifestation flows effortlessly when you focus on desire, when you feel the fulfillment, the abundance, and the joy of having your wish realized. When you focus on need, you send a signal of lack, and your subconscious mind will reproduce that experience. Therefore, the key to activating your mind lies not just in imagining what you want, but in embodying the state of having it. This is not an intellectual exercise, but an emotional and spiritual one. Your feelings are the language of the subconscious mind. They speak louder than your words or thoughts. To impress your subconscious with the reality of your desire, you must feel it deeply, sincerely, and consistently. Imagine the difference between someone who says, "I want to be wealthy," and someone who says, "I am wealthy." The first person sends a vibration of wanting, of incompletion. The second person sends a vibration of completion and abundance. Your subconscious mind responds accordingly, aligning circumstances to match your dominant feelings. In the activation of your mind, repetition is your ally. By repeatedly imagining and feeling your desire fulfilled, you create a mental habit, a neural pathway that conditions your subconscious. Over time, this habit becomes your dominant state of being. What once was an imagined scenario becomes your accepted reality, and the external world must conform. Do not be discouraged if your imagination feels weak or your emotions seem faint at first. Like any muscle, the imagination strengthens with use. Practice daily. Begin with small desires, cultivating the ability to feel their fulfillment fully. As your confidence grows, so will your manifestations. Your mind is also the storehouse of your memories and beliefs. Some of these may limit your creative power. Negative past experiences, doubts, or fears can create blocks in your subconscious. To activate your mind fully, you must become aware of these limiting beliefs and gently replace them with empowering thoughts and feelings. One powerful way to do this is through the use of affirmations combined with vivid imagining. For example, if you carry a belief of scarcity, affirm instead, "Abundance flows to me effortlessly and endlessly." While affirming, close your eyes and imagine yourself experiencing this abundance, seeing your bank account grow, feeling the joy of financial freedom, living without worry. The more vivid and emotional your imagination, the stronger the impression on your subconscious. Another way to activate your mind is through the practice of mental revision. This involves revisiting past events that caused you pain or limitation and reimagining them as you would have preferred them to occur. By changing your internal representation of the past, you change the impact it has on your present and future. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between real and vividly imagined experiences. It accepts your revision as true and adjusts your mental state accordingly. As you continue this work, you will begin to notice that your awareness expands. You become more attuned to the subtle messages of intuition and inspiration. These are the whispers of the universe guiding you toward your manifestation. Trust these inner promptings. They often come as ideas, feelings, or sudden clarity. Action inspired by these inner promptings is an essential part of manifestation. While your mind creates the blueprint, your actions build the structure. However, it is not frantic or desperate action driven by fear or lack, but calm, confident steps taken from a place of knowing. When your mind is activated and your inner state is aligned, the right opportunities and actions will present themselves effortlessly. Be patient with yourself and the process. Manifestation is a dance between the unseen and the seen, between your inner world and outer reality. Sometimes the process is swift. Other times it unfolds gradually to prepare you for the fullness of your desire. Trust the timing. Keep your focus on the end result, not the obstacles. Remember that your mind is not just personal, but part of a greater universal consciousness. You tap into infinite intelligence when you activate your imagination and faith. You become a co-creator with the divine, shaping your destiny with every thought and feeling. This realization brings with it responsibility and empowerment. As your mind activates, you will also find yourself naturally releasing old fears and doubts. They lose their grip because you are no longer feeding them with attention. Instead, you focus on what you want and who you are becoming. This shift in focus brings peace and clarity. It is important to celebrate your small victories along the way. Each manifestation, no matter how small, confirms the power of your mind. Celebrate the shifts in attitude, the moments of inspired action, the signs of progress. These celebrations reinforce your faith and deepen your connection to your creative power. Your mind is like a beacon, sending out frequencies that attract matching experiences. The clearer and more consistent your signal, the faster and more aligned your manifestations become. Avoid distractions and conflicting thoughts. Keep your mental and emotional environment clean and focused. In this activation, silence and stillness are powerful allies. Take moments daily to quiet your mind, to step away from the noise of the world, and connect with the stillness within. In this stillness, your imagination can paint with clarity, and your subconscious mind can absorb the impressions deeply. Know that to manifest anything is to step into your sovereignty as a creator. You are no longer at the mercy of external conditions or the opinions of others. You claim your power by consciously directing your thoughts and feelings. You become the architect of your life's experience. Do not fear failure or setbacks. They are but lessons and redirections. Each challenge is an opportunity to strengthen your mind's resolve and deepen your understanding. With each trial, your ability to manifest grows stronger. As your mind activates, you may find your desires evolving. This is natural. The process of manifestation brings you closer to your true self, and with that comes clarity about what will truly fulfill you. Embrace this evolution with openness and joy. Remember, the language of the mind is feeling. It is the emotional state that communicates your creative intent to the subconscious. Therefore, cultivate feelings of love, gratitude, joy, and peace. These states attract harmonious manifestations. In summary, activating your mind to manifest anything involves a harmonious blend of clear imagining, emotional feeling, unwavering belief, persistent practice, and inspired action. It requires that you take full responsibility for your mental states and consciously create the inner world that your outer world reflects. Your mind holds the key to all your desires. It is the gateway through which dreams become reality. By awakening this power within you, you step into a life of freedom, abundance, and fulfillment. The life you envision is not beyond your reach. It is within you, waiting to be brought forth. So begin today, this very moment. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and see with the eye of your imagination what you want to manifest. Feel the emotions of having it now. Know that you are a creator, and your mind is your tool. Activate it fully, and watch the miraculous unfold before your eyes. Your destiny is in your hands, shaped by the thoughts you think and the feelings you embrace. Manifest anything you desire by mastering the creative power of your mind. The universe responds to your consciousness, reflecting back to you the reality you hold within. Live as if your desire is already yours. Feel it, believe it, know it. This is the secret to manifesting anything. Your mind is activated. Now step forward with confidence and claim the life that awaits you. As you deepen your connection with your imagination, you will discover that it is not only a creative tool, but also a sanctuary. Within this inner realm, you have complete freedom. No limitation or barrier exists here except those you place yourself. The physical world, with all its restrictions and rules, is but a shadow of this vast, limitless inner reality. When you learn to dwell in this creative sanctuary, you align yourself with the eternal source of all life and power. Consider that every great achievement in history began as an imagined idea in someone's mind. The airplane, the light bulb, the vast cities, and even the arts and sciences, all started as vivid mental images in the consciousness of individuals who dared to see beyond what was. You have that same power within you, the power to conceive, to imagine, and to bring forth wonders. The practice of living in the end, of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, changes you internally. It shifts your energy, your attitudes, your whole state of being. This shift is the true catalyst for manifestation. You do not manipulate external conditions by force. You invite them into harmony with your new inner state. One profound way to cultivate this state is through what you might call mental rehearsals. Just as an actor rehearses a role, you rehearse your desired life scene in your mind with as much detail and emotion as you can muster. Imagine yourself walking through your dream home, feeling the textures, hearing the sounds, tasting the joy of that moment. Imagine yourself speaking with confidence in your ideal career or enjoying meaningful relationships. These rehearsals create a new identity within you, the identity of the fulfilled person. As this new identity takes root, you naturally begin to act, speak, and think in alignment with it. This is the law of identity. You become who you imagine yourself to be. The outer world follows suit. If you imagine yourself as successful, capable, and worthy, your actions reflect that, and opportunities align accordingly. In activating your mind, you also begin to understand the importance of persistence. The human mind is prone to distraction and doubt, but true manifestation requires steadfastness. When the outer world contradicts your desire, resist the temptation to return to old patterns of thought. Instead, reinforce your imaginal acts with renewed faith and feeling. Like a seed that lies beneath the soil before sprouting, your desire may take time to appear, but it is growing all the while. As your manifestation grows closer, you may experience moments of doubt or fear. These are natural but need not control you. Recognize these feelings as passing clouds, not the permanent weather of your mind. Return quickly to your inner sanctuary of imagination and feeling. The more you do this, the stronger your mind becomes, the more powerful your creative ability. Your mind is also a mirror reflecting your self-concept. If you see yourself as limited or undeserving, these reflections will dominate your life. To manifest freely, you must transform your self-image. See yourself as the creator you are, worthy, capable, and filled with unlimited potential. This shift in identity is the foundation of all true manifestation. As you cultivate this elevated self-concept, your subconscious mind begins to respond by changing your habits,
behaviors, and even your environment. You find new confidence to pursue goals, new courage to face challenges, and new openness to receive blessings. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself in this process is patience. Patience is not passive waiting, it is an active faith-filled state of allowing the unseen to work. While you imagine and feel, you release attachment to the timing and method. This surrender opens the door for the universe to deliver your manifestation in the perfect way. In the activation of your mind, your emotions become your compass. Joy, peace, and love indicate alignment with your desires. Fear, anxiety, and doubt signal misalignment. Cultivate your inner emotional landscape as carefully as you do your thoughts. Your feelings accelerate or hinder manifestation, so choose to nurture feelings that support your creative goals.
As your mind awakens to this power, you will notice changes in your relationships as well. People are drawn to your new energy. Opportunities arise naturally. Doors open where once there were walls. This is the magnetic effect of a mind activated in conscious creation. The key to sustaining this power lies in your daily practice. Like a muscle, the mind grows stronger with regular exercise. Each day, dedicate moments to quiet reflection, vivid imagining, and heartfelt feeling. These are the moments you weave the fabric of your future reality. Remember that you are not a victim of circumstances or the past. Your past is a story you have told yourself. By changing the story in your mind through imagination and feeling, you change your present and future. Your mind holds the power to rewrite your story at any moment. In this awareness, take full responsibility for your mental environment. Guard against negative influences, limiting beliefs, and doubts that others may project onto you. Protect your creative space and fill it with empowering thoughts and images. Activation of your mind is a joyful process. It is not a struggle but a discovery of your innate power. Allow yourself to play with your imagination, to dream boldly, and to feel the thrill of creation. The universe delights in your creativity and responds to your joy. As your manifestation unfolds, give thanks continuously. Gratitude keeps your mind open and receptive. It acknowledges the good already present and signals readiness for more. Gratitude is like a magnet that attracts blessings. Finally, know that you are part of an infinite web of consciousness. When you activate your mind, you contribute to the collective consciousness. Your creations ripple outward, influencing others and the world in positive ways. Your manifestation is not just for you, but for the greater good. With your mind fully activated, you step into a new reality. A reality limited only by the scope of your imagination and the depth of your feeling. Manifest anything, for you are the creative force behind all you experience. Let your mind soar free and watch as the unseen becomes seen, as your dreams take form and your life transforms. You hold within you the power to manifest miracles. Activate your mind, embrace your creative birthright, and live the life you have always imagined. Absolutely. Let's delve even deeper into awakening and activating the immense power of your mind so that you can manifest anything you desire. One of the most profound realizations in this journey is that your mind does not create in isolation. It works in harmony with universal laws, subtle energies, and the greater consciousness that permeates all existence. When you align your thoughts and feelings with these natural laws, your manifestations occur with ease and grace. Resistance and struggle come only when you try to force outcomes from a place of doubt or impatience. To truly activate your mind, you must learn to enter a state of relaxed receptivity. This is a condition of inner calm, where the mind is focused yet open, where you feel centered and peaceful. In this state, your imagination is free to paint vivid pictures of your desires, and your subconscious mind is most receptive to these impressions. Meditation, visualization, or simply quiet moments of focused attention can cultivate this state. The power of your subconscious mind is often underestimated. It is like fertile soil that nurtures the seeds of your thoughts and feelings. Whatever you plant there will grow and bear fruit. By consciously choosing what to plant, by impressing your subconscious with images and emotions of your desires, you ensure that the fruits you harvest will be sweet and plentiful. Your imagination is the creative engine. When you imagine with feeling, you stir the depths of your subconscious, awakening forces that bring your desires to life. This is why daydreams and idle fantasies, when combined with strong emotion, can influence your life profoundly, whether you realize it or not. Therefore, it is vital to direct your imagination consciously and purposefully. Consider the analogy of a sculptor who visualizes a masterpiece in the raw block of marble. The sculptor does not wait for the marble to change itself. Instead, the sculptor's vision and deliberate action shape the marble into the desired form. Your mind works the same way. Your clear vision and persistent feeling shape the raw material of your reality into the form you choose. One practical method to activate your mind is to write down your desires as if they have already been fulfilled. Describe your life in the present tense, using vivid language and emotion. Write about the sensations, the environment, the interactions you enjoy. This act of writing reinforces the impression on your subconscious, making your imaginal acts more concrete and powerful. When you do this, avoid any words that imply lack or future hoping, no I want or I hope. Instead use I am, I have, I feel. Language is powerful and the subconscious mind responds literally. Your statements become the foundation of your new reality. As you cultivate this practice, you may begin to notice subtle signs that your manifestation is approaching, synchronicities, inspired ideas, sudden clarity, new opportunities. These are confirmations from the universe that you are on the right path. Pay attention to these signals and respond with gratitude and action. Your mind also activates more fully when you engage all your senses in your imaginal acts. Don't just see your desire, hear the sounds, feel the textures, smell the aromas, taste the flavors. The more sensory details you include, the more real the experience becomes for your subconscious. This sensory richness creates a powerful impression that moves beyond mere thought into embodied knowing. Another essential aspect is emotional congruence. Your feelings must align with your imaginal acts. If you imagine abundance but feel fear or lack, your subconscious receives mixed signals. Strive to cultivate emotional states that resonate with your desire, joy, peace, confidence, love. These states attract experiences that match their frequency. It is also important to understand that manifestation is not a linear process. Sometimes what you desire may appear in unexpected ways or at surprising times. Be open to possibilities beyond your limited understanding. The universe's intelligence works in mysterious ways, orchestrating events for your highest good. In moments of doubt, remind yourself that the unseen world is real and active. Your imagination is not an illusion, but the gateway to creation. What you imagine with feeling impresses upon the fabric of reality and eventually takes form. Your faith in this truth strengthens your creative power. You are not merely a passive recipient of life, but an active participant in its unfolding. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess. By learning to activate and direct it consciously, you unlock the ability to create a life beyond your wildest dreams. As you continue this process, you will find your awareness expanding. You may begin to see patterns and connections previously hidden. Your intuition will sharpen. You will become more attuned to the subtle energies around you. This expanded consciousness is a sign of your mind's activation and growing mastery. Remember, the creative power of your mind is eternal. It was present before you were born and will continue long after. Every thought you think and every feeling you hold shapes the ongoing story of your existence. Embrace this power with reverence and joy. Manifestation is not a destination but a journey, a dance between your inner world and outer reality. With each step you become more skilled, more confident, more alive. Your mind's activation is the key that opens endless doors of possibility. So keep imagining, keep feeling, keep believing. Your mind is the birthplace of miracles. You have everything you need within you. Trust yourself, trust the process, and watch as your desires move from the realm of thought into the realm of experience. As you develop this understanding, you come to see that your imagination is not merely a passive receiver of images, but an active creator, a forge where your future reality is shaped. The thoughts you allow to dwell in your mind are like sparks igniting the flames of creation. Your feelings serve as the fuel that sustains and amplifies this fire. Together, thought and feeling weave the fabric of your existence. To truly activate your mind, it is necessary to cultivate awareness of your habitual mental patterns. Often we drift unconsciously, allowing repetitive thoughts of limitation, fear, or lack to dominate our inner landscape.
These habitual patterns act like grooves in a record, playing the same limiting tune repeatedly. The first step in transformation is becoming conscious of these grooves, so you can consciously choose to play a different melody, one of possibility, abundance, and fulfillment. Mindfulness is a powerful tool in this process. By observing your thoughts without judgment, you create space to interrupt old patterns and redirect your focus. When you catch yourself dwelling on what you do not want or what seems impossible, gently shift your attention to what you do want and what is possible. This simple act of redirection strengthens your mental muscles and aligns your energy with your desires. Your imagination, once trained and disciplined, becomes a sanctuary you can enter at will, a place where you consciously sculpt your future. Each time you return to this creative sanctuary, your connection to the unseen world deepens. You become more adept at painting clear, vivid, and emotionally charged scenes that your subconscious mind accepts as reality. It is also helpful to embrace a sense of playfulness in your creative work. While the power you wield is immense, approaching it with lightness and joy makes the process more natural and effective. Imagine your manifestation practice as a game or an art form where experimentation and delight lead to mastery. The universe responds joyfully to your enthusiasm and willingness to engage with creation as a joyful dance. Furthermore, your mind's activation is strengthened by consistency. Daily practice of visualization, feeling, and affirmation builds momentum. Like water steadily wearing away stone, persistent focus dissolves doubts and reshapes your subconscious beliefs. Consistency is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. Another aspect to consider is the alignment of your beliefs with your desires. Often there are subconscious beliefs rooted in past experiences or societal conditioning that contradict what you consciously want. These conflicting beliefs create resistance that hinders manifestation. To activate your mind fully, you must identify and transform these limiting beliefs. Techniques such as affirmations, mental revision, and emotional release can assist in clearing these blocks. As your mind awakens to its creative power, you will begin to notice the synchronicities and signs that guide you. These meaningful coincidences are the universe's way of showing you that you are in harmony with your desire. Pay attention to these signs. They may appear as unexpected opportunities, helpful people, or sudden insights. Respond to them with openness and gratitude. Remember that your emotions are the compass of your creative journey. When you feel joy, peace, and excitement, you are aligned with your true desires. When fear, doubt, or anxiety arise, they indicate misalignment. Practice shifting your emotional state by focusing on aspects of your desire that bring pleasure and satisfaction. Feel these emotions as deeply as you can, for they activate the subconscious mind's creative power. It is important to understand that manifestation does not always unfold in the way you expect. The universe's intelligence may orchestrate events in surprising ways to bring you what is best for your growth and happiness. Trust in this divine wisdom. Stay open and flexible, knowing that the essence of your desire is fulfilled, even if the form differs from your imagination. As you continue to practice activating your mind, you will notice a transformation not only in your external circumstances but also in your inner life. Your confidence will grow, your perspective will broaden, and your sense of purpose will deepen. This inner transformation is the true power behind manifestation. It is not just about acquiring things but about becoming the person who naturally attracts and embodies those things. Your mind is a living, breathing force, dynamic and responsive. By consciously engaging with it, you enter a sacred partnership with the creative energies of the universe. You become a conscious co-creator of your experience, shaping your life with intention, clarity, and joy.
As you awaken this power within, you will also inspire others. Your example will radiate, showing those around you that they too have the power to create their lives. This ripple effect amplifies the creative force on a collective level, contributing to a more conscious and abundant world. Keep nurturing your mind with thoughts of possibility and hope. Surround yourself with inspiring ideas, uplifting people, and supportive environments. Protect your creative space from negativity and distractions that drain your energy. Above all, maintain a deep trust in your own creative ability. The power to manifest anything lies within you, waiting to be claimed and exercised. Your imagination is your greatest ally. Your feelings are the language your subconscious speaks. Your faith is the bridge that connects thought to reality. With each imaginal act, you forge a new path. With each feeling embraced, you draw your desire closer. With each act of faith, you strengthen the invisible threads that weave your dreams into existence. Continue now, in this moment, to activate your mind with clarity, passion, and unwavering belief. Your future is a canvas awaiting your brush. Paint boldly, feel deeply, and trust fully. The life you imagine is not only possible, but inevitable, for you are the master artist of your reality. As you walk this path of conscious creation, it's essential to recognize that your mind thrives on clarity. When your vision is vague or uncertain, your subconscious receives mixed messages, causing hesitation or delay in manifestation. Take time to refine your desires, to know exactly what you want, not just superficially, but in rich detail. What does having your desire feel like? What does it look like, sound like, smell like? The more precise your mental picture, the more direct the instructions you send to your subconscious mind. When you activate your mind with precision, you create a powerful blueprint. This blueprint serves as a magnetic field that draws matching circumstances, people, and opportunities to you. Like a lighthouse shining across the sea, your clear imagination beams forth your intent, guiding your manifestation safely to shore. Your mind's creative power is also amplified by belief in your own worthiness. Often, limiting beliefs about deservingness, whether conscious or subconscious, act as hidden barriers. You might find yourself unconsciously sabotaging your efforts or hesitating to fully claim your desires. These beliefs must be lovingly examined and transformed. Affirm to yourself daily that you are deserving of all good things, that abundance, love, and success are your natural birthright. The practice of affirmation is a potent way to reprogram your subconscious beliefs. Choose affirmations that resonate deeply with you, statements that affirm your power and worth. Repeat them with feeling and conviction, especially during moments of stillness or before sleep, when your mind is most receptive. Another powerful aspect of activating your mind is the release of attachment to outcomes. Attachment often breeds resistance because it creates a tension between what is and what you want. This tension can block the natural flow of manifestation. Instead, cultivate a mindset of detachment, not in the sense of indifference, but in the sense of trusting that the universe's timing and method are perfect. Focus on your desired state of being and let the details unfold naturally. Trust acts as a bridge between your inner creation and outer manifestation. When you trust the process, you align yourself with the natural rhythm of creation. You release control over the how and when, allowing space for miraculous and unexpected solutions to arise. Your mind's activation is not merely an intellectual exercise, but a holistic engagement involving your emotions, beliefs, and even your physical body. Your body responds to your mental states, and physical actions taken from an aligned mind reinforce your manifestations. When your thoughts, feelings, and actions are in harmony, your creative power is unstoppable. In addition to daily imagination and feeling, cultivate habits that support your mental clarity and emotional well-being. Regular rest, healthy nutrition, movement, and moments of stillness all contribute to a fertile inner environment where your mind's creative forces can flourish. As you continue to nurture this inner environment, you may notice a growing sense of inner peace. This peace is not merely the absence of conflict, but the presence of trust and alignment. It is a deep knowing that all is well, that your desires are already fulfilled in the unseen, and that your external world is catching up with this inner reality. Remember, your mind is connected to an infinite wellspring of intelligence and creativity. When you activate your imagination with faith and feeling, you tap into this vast source. Your ideas, inspirations, and visions are gifts from this higher intelligence guiding you toward your highest good. The more you practice conscious creation, the more you will recognize that you are never limited by external circumstances. Challenges become opportunities to refine your vision and strengthen your faith. Obstacles are temporary mirrors reflecting old beliefs ready to be released. In this process, patience is a powerful ally. Manifestation often follows a rhythm that may not be immediately apparent. Like a seed buried in the soil, your desire must pass through stages of growth before emerging in full bloom. Patience accompanied by persistent faith ensures your manifestation matures fully and beautifully. Your activated mind also enhances your creativity in everyday life. You will find new solutions to problems, new ways to express yourself, and new joys in ordinary moments. This expanded creativity is part of your natural state when your mind operates at full power. Surround yourself with inspiration. Read uplifting books, listen to empowering ideas, engage with people who support your growth. Your environment plays a subtle but important role in keeping your mind activated and focused on your desires. Celebrate progress, no matter how small. Each positive shift is a sign of your growing mastery. Gratitude for these small victories keeps your vibration high and your faith strong. Above all, honor your journey. Activation of your mind is an ongoing process, a lifelong unfolding of your creative potential. As you grow, your desires may evolve, and your visions may expand. Welcome these changes as signs of your deepening alignment with your true self. You are the author of your life story. With every thought, every feeling, you write new chapters filled with possibility and fulfillment. Activate your mind daily, nurture your creative power, and watch as the pages of your life fill with miracles. Now in this very moment, engage your imagination fully. See your desire clearly. Feel its reality deeply. Believe in your power to manifest it. The universe is ready to respond. Your mind is awake and alive. Step boldly into your creative power and claim the limitless life that awaits you. As you persist in this conscious unfolding, understand this. Your every moment becomes sacred. Each breath, each glance inward, each spark of desire is a thread weaving the fabric of your manifested reality. The more you honor the present moment, the more potent your power becomes. For it is only in the now that the creative force can operate. The past holds no authority, and the future is merely an echo of your present consciousness. When you center yourself fully in the now, feeling as though your desire is already fulfilled, you summon creative energy in its purest form. This living awareness becomes your sanctuary, a place where you consistently return, not to beg the universe, but to feel the truth of your creation. And in that sacred inner sanctuary, you commune with the invisible forces that shape the visible world. From this communion arises a quiet confidence, not arrogance, but the peace that knows what is unseen shall be seen, what is hoped for shall be touched, and what was once only imagined shall be experienced. Your ability to persist in this awareness is key, not through strain, not through force, but through faithful repetition. Just as water carves valleys through mountains with soft consistency, so too does your persistent assumption shape the contours of your life. Even when nothing seems to move outwardly, the inner world is at work, rearranging, reshuffling, responding. Do not judge the progress by appearances. Appearances often lag behind truth. Let your inner conviction be your measure. If you feel it real, it is real. No longer ask if it's working. Instead, feel the satisfaction that it has worked, that it is done. This mental rest, this Sabbath of the soul, is not inactivity. It is the deepest form of activity. It is the stillness in which creation takes root. It is in this stillness that the universe whispers, "It is yours." When your outer world begins to reflect your inner assumptions, perhaps suddenly, perhaps subtly, do not be surprised. Smile with recognition. This was your doing. You authored it in silence and clothed it in flesh. It came forth not by chance, but by law, a divine law that bends to the authority of your imagination, directed by your feeling and sustained by your belief. You will begin to notice how everything you once called coincidence is now seen as consequence of your inner activity. Conversations, encounters, offers, opportunities, they all bend to the mold of your self-concept. If you believe you are fortunate, life confirms it. If you feel unworthy, life echoes it. So shift your self-concept at its core. Speak gently, powerfully to yourself. Feed the identity that aligns with your dreams. I am wealthy. I am loved. I am whole. These are not empty affirmations. They are the commands from the throne room of your consciousness. Let this identity become so natural, so familiar, that you forget you ever questioned it. Let the old self fall away, not in resistance, but in gratitude. It brought you here, but now you are ready to rise, to step fully into the creative authority that has always been yours. The mind you activate today is not small.
It is not weak. It is not limited by your past or conditioned by your upbringing. It is infinite in scope, divine in origin, and obedient to your assumptions. Speak life into your future. Feel it alive in you now. Walk not as someone seeking, but as one who has already found. And in this way you live your life not by default, but by design, not by reaction, but by creation. You move from waiting to welcoming, from hoping to knowing. This is the awakened state. This is the true creative power that lies dormant in so many, but which you now call forth to full expression. Continue imagining boldly. Continue feeling deeply. Continue believing without wavering. For all things respond to the one who knows who they are, and refuses to accept anything less than what they have already claimed in spirit. As you continue to dwell in that sacred awareness, where thought becomes flesh and assumption becomes fact, you will see the lines blur between the inner and the outer. What once felt distant will begin to feel near.
Let your imagination never become a place of escape, but a place of construction. You do not go there to hide. You go there to build. And what you build in imagination, with faith and feeling, will surely come into form. So return there daily, deliberately. Construct your life in the unseen realm, until it is so vivid that your outer world has no choice but to reflect it. And while others may still be waiting for circumstances to change before they believe, you already believe, and thus the circumstances change for you. You do not wait for signs, you create them. You do not chase confirmation, you live as confirmation. Your very being becomes evidence of things unseen, and people may ask, how did this happen? And you will smile, knowing it began long before it appeared. It began in silence. It began in thought. It began the moment you chose to believe it real. You are no longer a passive participant in life. You are the author, the sculptor, the conductor. You do not hope for change, you command it with your attention, your feeling, and your unwavering assumption. You do not ask for permission from the world to rise higher. You rise inwardly, and the world conforms. You do not explain your vision to those who cannot yet see. You live it quietly, until its reality speaks louder than words. And through all of this, your peace deepens. Because you no longer rely on appearances to determine your state. You live from within. You draw your confidence not from evidence but from essence. And in doing so you unlock a level of freedom few will ever understand. A freedom that cannot be given by the world, and therefore cannot be taken away. This is the power of the mind fully activated. This is the beauty of a soul who knows their true creative nature. This is the life of one who no longer reacts but creates. And this life, this magnificent, abundant, joyful life, is available to you now. Not tomorrow, not someday, not when conditions improve. Now, because now is all that exists. And in this now, you are free to assume the highest and best for yourself and for all. Daily, faithfully, planting seeds of consciousness in the fertile soil of your imagination, knowing that every idea impregnated with feeling must bring forth after its kind. You are no longer deceived by delay. Delay is not denial, it is gestation. Just as the farmer does not dig up the seed to check its progress, you do not disturb your assumptions with doubt. You water them with belief. You nurture them with gratitude. And you persist with the quiet certainty of one who understands the law. You may find the world around you beginning to shift. Small signs, subtle movements, whispers of manifestation echoing through the corridors of your daily life. A word spoken by a stranger, an unexpected message, a change in atmosphere. These are not coincidences, but confirmations. They reveal that your inner world is speaking louder than your circumstances, and the universe is listening. But even if no sign appears, your inner knowing remains unmoved. For you are not living for signs, you are living from truth. As you walk in this truth, something extraordinary begins to happen. You begin to feel whole, even when nothing has outwardly changed. You begin to feel rich, even when the bank account says otherwise. You begin to feel loved, even if no one yet stands beside you. And this feeling is not fantasy, it is foundation. For the world always catches up with your conviction. What you feel now becomes what you live later. What you assume inwardly creates the story. The world will one day call fate. Others may still ask how. How did you do it? How did you turn it around? How did you receive what seemed so far beyond your reach? And the answer will not be in methods or rituals or strategies. The answer will be simple, I changed my mind. I chose to feel it real. I refused to believe in lack. I stopped waiting for the world to give me permission. I assumed my identity, and the world responded. You will know beyond all shadow of doubt that the true temple is within, that heaven is not a place but a state of awareness, that every condition is subject to change when you change your inner agreement with reality, and that no dream is too large, no desire too bold, for the one who dares to live from the end. So hold fast to the vision, nourish it with unwavering love, return to it in the quiet of the night and the stillness of the morning. Let it become your secret joy, your hidden treasure. Speak to it gently, confidently. You are mine. You already exist. I live in you, and you live in me. And then go about your day, not as one who hopes, but as one who knows. Because the truth is, once you have activated your mind, once you have claimed your divine right to imagine and assume, nothing can stop you. You are the dreamer and the dream, the beginning and the end, the creator and the creation. And you carry within you the power to manifest anything. And with this power fully alive in you, you no longer fear the world, you bless it. You no longer resist circumstances, you transcend them. You no longer feel bound by history or background or mistakes. You are renewed by vision, because you have touched the invisible and discovered that the invisible is more real than the visible. You have stepped into the inner world where all things are made, and from this sanctuary, you shape your destiny. You no longer ask, will it come? But instead affirm, it is already here. Your walk becomes lighter. Your words carry authority. Your presence radiates certainty. Because you are no longer seeking, you are expressing. You are no longer begging, you are declaring. You no longer need evidence to believe. You believe and the evidence follows. This is the reversal of the world's order. This is the divine order of creation. The world may call it madness. Let them. You are not here to conform to their expectations. You are here to fulfill your vision. You are not here to live from memory. You are here to live from imagination. What others call unreasonable, you call revelation. What they call impossible, you call inevitable. Because you have dared to look within and say, this is real, this is mine, this is done. And from this unshakable awareness, life begins to mirror your inner state with stunning precision. The people you meet, the doors that open, the opportunities that unfold, they are not accidents, they are reflections. And as your inner world becomes rich, full, joyous, harmonious, so too does the outer. You no longer run after success, it flows toward you. You no longer chase love, it finds you. You no longer strive for peace, you carry it wherever you go. Now you can look upon the world with compassion, because you know everyone is dreaming, some in fear, some in hope, some in love. And you know that each one holds the same key you have used, the power to feel it real. You don't need to convince them, you only need to live it. Your life becomes the sermon. Your peace becomes the testimony. Your manifestation becomes the invitation. And this is only the beginning. The more you use this power, the more it uses you. The more you trust it, the more it reveals. There are no limits, no ceilings, no boundaries, only what you dare to assume. And every time you feel yourself drifting, distracted, or doubting, you return to the silence. You close your eyes. You see again. You feel again. You know again. And in that moment the world bends again. Because it must. Because you are the operant power. Because you are not a victim of fate. You are the master of form. And the life you longed for has always been waiting within you. Not just to be dreamed but to be lived. And now you walk through the world with the poise of one who has discovered their own center. Not needing applause. Not needing proof. For your inner state has become your permanent dwelling place. The outside world becomes a mirror reflecting your inner conviction. And you no longer ask the mirror to change first. You change, and the mirror responds. You understand now that creation is finished. Every possibility already exists. And your only work is to select. Select with feeling. Select with faith. Select with finality. You know now that every time you claim a new reality, in your imagination, you have entered into a sacred covenant with it. You do not try to make it happen. You live as if it already has. You do not obsess over the how, for that is not your domain. The how belongs to the unseen intelligence that orchestrates all things. Your responsibility is to be the receiver, the container, the willing participant in the divine unfolding. And so you do your part with joy. You wake up each day,
clothed in your chosen identity. You speak, act, and move in alignment with it, not to make it happen, but because it is already true. And slowly or quickly, depending on your conviction, the world catches up. Your life begins to reflect your assumptions with increasing clarity. You no longer see obstacles. You see opportunities to deepen your faith. You no longer experience lack. You see it as a temporary echo of an old state, dissolving under the heat of your new awareness. And each manifestation strengthens your confidence, not in the things themselves, but in the law, in the power of imagination, in the truth that everything in your world is responding to you, because it came out of you. This is no longer theory to you. It is lived experience. You are not studying how to manifest. You are manifesting. You are not analyzing whether it works. You are proving it. And the joy is not only in the receiving, but in the being, in knowing that you are the cause, in watching the world rearrange around your inner transformation, in experiencing firsthand what it means to be a deliberate creator. And now when you hear someone say, "That's not possible," you smile, not with arrogance, but with compassion, because you remember when you believed the same. You remember when you waited for the world to change before you changed. But now you know better. You know that waiting is a trick of the old mind, that the only moment you ever truly have is now, and what you claim now, with feeling, becomes what you walk into tomorrow. You have become the very thing you once chased. You have become the embodiment of answered prayer. You have stepped out of wishing and into knowing. And because you now dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled, the wish must fulfill itself. This is law. This is truth. This is your birthright. And the most beautiful part is that there's no end to it. There is always more to imagine, more to express, more to become, not from lack, but from abundance, not from hunger, but from overflow. You are now playing in the infinite playground of possibility, where the only limit is the one you impose with thought. And because you've seen what's possible, you can never go back to a life of unconscious creation. You are awake. You are aware. You are aligned. You've activated your mind. And with it you've activated your destiny. And with this destiny unfolding before you, you no longer search outside yourself for signs of validation, for everything you need is already within. You live not in reaction to the world, but as the author of it. Each day becomes a blank page, each moment a fresh invitation to impress upon the canvas of reality your chosen image, your chosen feeling, your chosen truth. You walk not in haste, but in harmony, not in panic, but in peace. Because you are no longer ruled by conditions, you are the condition.
There is a calm confidence that follows you now. Others may not understand it, but they will feel it. They will sense the clarity in your voice, the serenity in your presence, the certainty in your actions. Not because life is always perfect around you, but because it is aligned within you. You are no longer shaken by appearances, for you know they are simply shadows cast by past beliefs. You change your belief, and the shadow disappears. You change your assumption, and the world conforms. Even in the face of resistance, you remain unmoved, not because you ignore it, but because you recognize it for what it is. Remnants of old states, dissolving under the weight of your new awareness. You bless it and let it go. You do not fight it. You rise above it. You do not curse delay. You embrace the process, because you now know that every assumption truly felt and persisted in must externalize itself. There is no power in the world that can contradict a mind fully persuaded of its truth. And when challenges arise, you use them. You no longer see them as obstacles, but as opportunities to deepen your conviction. You go inward. You revisit the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You re-enter the scene that implies your success. And you do so, not with anxiety, but with joy. Because you know this is the real work, the only work. To remain faithful to the unseen until the seen bows to it. To remain loyal to your inner world until the outer reflects it with exactness. You begin to live in gratitude, not as a practice, but as a natural result of your knowing. Gratitude becomes the atmosphere of your being, because you are always living in the answer, even before it arrives. You thank life in advance. You bless the invisible. You celebrate the unseen, because to you, it is already real. And the world, unable to resist such unwavering faith, yields to your conviction again and again. You will see miracles, not as rare events, but as natural expressions of your alignment. You will witness synchronicities, not as surprises, but as confirmations. You will see time collapse, circumstances rearrange, people shift, and doors open, because you dared to believe in your power and to activate it. And that power now lives through you. It breathes through your intentions. It moves through your awareness. It speaks through your assumptions. And there will be moments, quiet, sacred moments, when you stop and realize that everything you once dreamed, you are now living. The house, the love, the abundance, the purpose, it is all here. But more than that, you are here. The version of you that once seemed far away has become your reality. And with tears of recognition, you understand that it was never the things you were chasing. It was always this version of yourself, the one who knows, the one who feels, the one who creates. You have entered a different dimension, not one defined by physical laws, but by spiritual certainty. You now move in the rhythm of creation. You now hear the voice within louder than the noise without, and you carry this presence into every conversation, every room, every decision. You don't have to speak about it. You are it, and those who encounter you will feel it. They will be moved by something they cannot name, a stillness, a power, a light, and some will be awakened by it. And so your life becomes not just a manifestation, but a ministry, a demonstration of what is possible for anyone who chooses to believe before they see, to assume before they receive, to feel before they touch. You are proof that the invisible creates the visible. You are the evidence that imagination truly felt becomes reality. And nothing can take that from you, for it was never given to you by the world. It was always yours. And now you move with a sacred awareness that every thought is a seed, every emotion is water, and every assumption is the sun that brings it to life. You no longer casually entertain ideas of fear or lack, because you understand the law too well. You guard your inner world like a sacred garden, pruning every doubt, removing every weed of disbelief, and nurturing only those states which align with your desire. You are no longer at war with appearances. You are in love with creation. You have come to see life, not as something that happens to you, but as something that happens through you. And this realization makes all the difference. When you wake in the morning, you no longer reach for your phone, or the noise of the world. You reach inward. You remember who you are. You establish the feeling of your wish fulfilled as the foundation of your day. And as you go about your hours, that feeling clings to you, shaping your speech, guiding your actions, forming the atmosphere around you. People respond to you differently, though they may not understand why. They feel drawn to the peace you carry, to the quiet power that now surrounds you. And you give freely, not because you need anything in return, but because you know giving and receiving are one act. When something you desire hasn't yet appeared, you do not despair. You do not question. You do not beg. You return to the state. You close your eyes, not to escape, but to command. You dwell again in the end. You touch the garment of your own imagination, and you say thank you, before it ever arrives. And in that thanksgiving you re-establish your authority. You reaffirm your role as the operant power. You know that it is done, and that knowing is your rest. That knowing is your fulfillment, even before the form shows itself. You have reached a point where you trust yourself more than the facts, where you trust the invisible more than the seen. And this is not delusion, this is dominion. You are not ignoring reality, you are shaping it. You are not avoiding life, you are choosing it. You are no longer subject to conditions, for you have risen to the level of cause. And in this cause lies your freedom. In this cause lies your freedom. In this cause lies your joy. Because now nothing is too great for you to imagine. Nothing is too far to claim. Nothing is too sacred to possess. And this life you are living, it continues to expand. For as long as you desire, there will be more to create. As long as you feel, there will be more to call forth. And you no longer fear the future, because you are the one creating it. You no longer feel trapped by the past, because you now redeem it. Every event, every memory, every pain has been reinterpreted. In the light of this truth, you were always meant to discover this power. You were always meant to wake up. And now that you have,
You walk through the world with the stillness of a master, the confidence of a creator, and the heart of one who truly loves. Continue to imagine boldly, to assume fully, to feel deeply. Continue to walk in the end, speak from the end, live from the end. Let your life be the unfolding of your most beautiful dreams, not because you strive for them, but because you assume them, not because you chase them, but because you have already received them in the silence of your inner world. And that silence, that still, sacred place within you, is where all things begin. It is your source, it is your sanctuary, it is your throne, and you now sit upon that throne, not with pride, but with peace, not to rule over others, but to reign over your own mind. And in this reign you find a freedom that no one can take from you, a power that no circumstance can diminish, a joy that no condition can alter. For it is not dependent on what happens, it flows from who you are, and who you are, you now know, is unlimited. And this knowing becomes your song. It sings within you, through every challenge, every delay, every moment of apparent stillness. For even in stillness, you know the work is being done. Even in silence, you feel the reality forming. You do not rush the process, because you trust the seed. You have planted it with purpose, watered it with belief, and rested in the assurance that it must grow. You understand that faith is not frantic, it is calm, it is not loud, it is certain. And so you no longer seek signs, you embody the sign. You become the living proof of unseen things made manifest. You carry this truth into your relationships, into your finances, into your health, into every corner of your experience. You no longer compartmentalize your faith. It is the atmosphere of your being. Whether speaking with strangers, or walking through solitude, whether facing triumphs or navigating trials, you remain the same, anchored, focused, sure, because nothing external has the power to disturb what is established internally. You have chosen your state, and your state is your destiny. And so the world bends to meet you, not because it is compelled by force, but because it is shaped by law. It reflects your inner convictions with precision, not to punish or reward, but to reveal. Every moment becomes feedback, every encounter a mirror, every outcome a message that points back to your assumption. And with each reflection you fine-tune your awareness, you refine your consciousness, you adjust, not with effort, but with ease, not by striving, but by settling deeper into the truth of who you are. This is your power, not to manipulate appearances, but to master yourself, not to control others, but to control your own inner conversations. For those conversations are the root of every outcome, the fountain from which your life flows. And now that you are aware, you speak only what you choose to live. You declare only what you choose to experience. You assume only what you desire to see. And as you do, life becomes increasingly effortless. You do not push the river, you flow with it. You do not demand from the world, you welcome from within. In this way you have become the source of your own miracles. You no longer marvel at the extraordinary, for it has become ordinary to you. The uncommon becomes common. The impossible becomes expected. The delay becomes divine timing. The contradiction becomes confirmation. You do not waver. You do not beg. You do not wait in fear. You wait in faith. You live in faith. You live in faith. You move in faith. And in that faith mountains move, seas part, and circumstances rearrange. What once felt like resistance is now fuel. What once appeared as lack is now seen as space to create. What once seemed like loss is now understood as alignment. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is meaningless. Every moment, every feeling, every encounter has brought you here, to this knowing, this clarity, this sacred realization, that the world outside has always been a shadow of the world within, and you now dwell in the inner world, not as a visitor, but as its master, not as a dreamer who longs, but as one who lives the dream. You understand the silence between desire and manifestation is not absence. It is preparation. It is the gathering of all things necessary for your vision to come forth in its perfect form. So you do not panic in the pause. You praise in the pause. You prepare in the pause. You imagine even more deeply, feel even more vividly, assume even more completely, because you know with every breath in your body, that what you have claimed is already yours, and what is yours will find its way to you, not by force, but by right.
And you walk on, not in desperation, but in delight, not in need, but in fullness. For you have discovered the key, the secret, the law. You have awakened the power that was always sleeping within you. And now that it is awake, it cannot be forgotten. It cannot be denied. It cannot be undone. You are no longer trying to become. You are being. You are no longer hoping to receive. You are assuming possession. You are no longer questioning the process. You are embodying the outcome. You are it. You are the beginning and the end, the question and the answer, the seeker and the fulfillment. And as you continue in this way, calmly, joyfully, silently, you will see your world transform again and again. Not because you strive for change, but because you live in the new. You remain faithful to the image within, and the outer must respond. You persist in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and the world has no choice but to echo it. Not by chance, but by law. Not by effort, but by consciousness. And so you smile, not because the world is perfect, but because you now know you are. You are not limited by the past. You are not defined by circumstance. You are not subject to the opinions or fears of others. You are free. Free to choose, free to feel, free to create. And in that freedom you discover a peace that cannot be shaken. A joy that needs no cause. A confidence that lives beyond conditions. You are no longer merely a participant in life. You are the author of it. And what you write now, you will live. What you feel now, you will see. What you believe now, you will become. And you no longer measure progress by outer shifts alone, because you have tasted the truer progress, the transformation within. You measure success, not by applause or numbers, but by the stillness you carry, the certainty you now embody. Your peace is no longer conditional, and your happiness no longer delayed. You have removed the waiting room from your mind. You no longer say, when this happens then I'll feel, because you have reversed the order. You feel first. You live in the joy now. You breathe in the outcome now. You give thanks before the evidence appears, and by doing so, the evidence becomes inevitable. Now you move through the world with sacred indifference to conditions, not because you are detached or careless, but because you are rooted in the higher law. You have trained your inner eye to see beyond sight, to hear beyond sound, to know beyond knowledge. You do not need permission from facts to believe. You do not require validation from the world to imagine. Your truth is internal. Your authority is internal. And from that place you create a life that mirrors your innermost convictions, not occasionally, but consistently. Not sometimes, but always. Because the law is faithful to itself, and you have aligned with it. Even in moments of contrast, when appearances defy your desire, you remain anchored. You no longer question your worthiness or your path. You no longer speak of luck or chance. You know too much. You've seen too clearly. You've tasted the power and cannot pretend to be powerless. So you return again and again to the inner act. You rehearse your new identity. You revive the feeling. You step back into the scene. You speak again the words of fulfillment. And each time you do, you dissolve resistance. You silence fear. You collapse time. You live now in a different dimension, not apart from the world, but above its seeming laws. You see others around you rushing, striving, worrying, and you bless them, not with pity, but with peace. You recognize your former self in them, and yet you remain still, knowing they too will awaken. You do not need to preach or persuade, because your life has become the message. Your calm has become the teaching. Your joy is the silent sermon, and those who are ready will hear it. Those who are seeking will find it, not through your words alone, but through your example. And you keep imagining, not because you are incomplete, but because creation is your nature. You keep assuming, not because you lack, but because you are always expanding. You no longer use the law to escape something, you use it to express the fullness of who you are. Your manifestations are not pleas for validation. They are celebrations of identity. They are the fruits of a mind that knows its power, a heart that trusts its vision, and a spirit that remembers its origin. And so the things you once chased now appear with grace. The dreams you once doubted now unfold with ease. This life becomes richer, not only in things but in meaning. Not only in outcomes but in presence. You do not need to fill every moment with noise, because silence has become your sanctuary. You do not chase inspiration, because you live from it. You do not wait for signs. You are the sign. You do not perform for the world. you express from your being. You no longer seek outside what you already are within. You live from the end. You speak from the end. You rest in the end. And that end so full, so vibrant, so alive, was never distant. It was always here, waiting in your imagination, waiting in your willingness to feel. And now that you've touched it, claimed it, assumed it, the world around you is catching up to what you already know. Slowly at first, then suddenly. Piece by piece, then all at once. And even as it does, you remain unmoved. Because you've already lived it in the silence. You've already walked the halls of your palace in vision. You've already felt the embrace, the applause, the abundance, the freedom, inwardly. And now it simply arrives, as it must. You are not surprised. You are not overwhelmed. You are not unsure. You are ready. Ready to receive. Ready to celebrate. Ready to expand again. Because this power that you've claimed is not a one-time miracle, it is a lifestyle. It is a rhythm. It is your divine inheritance. And you honor it by using it, by claiming boldly, by assuming joyfully, by feeling richly. This is how you now live, not from effort, but from embodiment, not from doubt, but from knowing, not from fear, but from faith. Because you live from faith, you no longer need to convince the outer world of your inner vision. You no longer require reassurance or external affirmation, because you have touched the essence of what is real. You have felt it in the unseen, and that is enough. That feeling, vivid and alive within you, is more real than any fact could ever be. The evidence may take form in time, but the truth exists now. And so you walk forward, not to get to it, but to meet it. Not to find it, but to welcome it. It is already yours in the realm that matters most, and what is yours cannot be denied you. You have activated your mind to manifest anything, because you have learned the secret. Consciousness is the only cause. You do not try to change things by action alone. You change your state of being, and watch as all things align. You select the reality you wish to experience, and take your place within it, not as a guest, but as the owner. You make no apologies for your desires. You do not question whether they are too big or too bold. You know now that the desire itself is proof of its fulfillment. You would not long for what was not already prepared. You would not hunger for what did not already exist. In that certainty your life changes shape, not from striving, but from surrender to a higher knowing. Your days become infused with purpose, your nights with peace. You no longer dread the unknown, for you've made it your friend. You no longer resist the invisible, for it has become your home. You live now by a different light, one that shines from within, illuminating not only your path, but the paths of those around you. And they will look at you, some in wonder, some in confusion, but all will feel the presence of someone who has remembered. You have remembered who you are. You have remembered what you carry. You have remembered the divine truth hidden beneath all the noise, that imagination creates reality. That feeling is the secret. That assumption is the bridge between desire and demonstration. And you walk that bridge with joy, with grace, with unshakable confidence. Not because you've mastered the outer world, but because you've mastered your inner one. You've taken possession of your thoughts. You've selected your assumptions. You've chosen your end. And because of that, nothing can remain the same. And so you will continue quietly, powerfully, faithfully. You will continue to manifest not just things, but states, not just outcomes, but experiences. You will continue to reveal the fullness of your being through the canvas of life. And in doing so you will lift others, not by force, but by presence, not by preaching, but by living. For you have become the embodiment of the unseen. The invisible has become flesh through you. And that, my friend, is the miracle. That is the awakening. That is the gift. As you go on living from this awakened state, you notice that life itself bends to meet you, to echo the tones you carry within. The world becomes less of a battlefield, and more of a mirror. You no longer wrestle with reality, because reality is no longer your master, it is your servant, reflecting what you have already established in the quiet chamber of your consciousness. The delays you once feared now appear as divine timing. The obstacles that once seemed insurmountable dissolve before the unwavering clarity of your assumption. You are no longer trying to fix the reflection, you are adjusting the face that casts it. And in doing so you reclaim the only true power there ever was, the power of your awareness. You do not need to manipulate, to persuade,
to struggle for what you desire. You understand now that your world springs from your self-concept. You are the root. All else is fruit. And when the root is planted deeply in truth, in identity, in the bold claim of I am, then the fruit will bear witness to that invisible certainty. You no longer question how it will come, when it will come, or who must deliver it. That is no longer your domain. You have released that part. You have placed your full trust in the unseen hand that responds unfailingly to your inner command. And what freedom that brings. What liberation to no longer be at the mercy of appearances. What joy to know you need not react, only create. What peace to walk through the chaos of the world, while holding still the inner picture that governs all. You become unmoved by shadows, because you are the one who stands in the light. And from that light, you begin to radiate possibilities for others. You don't tell them what to do, you simply show them who you are. You become evidence that the mind can bend the fabric of the world. You become proof that faith is not fiction. You become the living embodiment of a law most have forgotten. And so when others ask how you changed your life, you smile, not with pride, but with quiet knowing. Because what you have tapped into is not exclusive, not reserved for the few, not granted by favor or fortune. It is within all. And the moment they believe it, they too will awaken. But until then, you remain as a reminder, a gentle radiant symbol of what is possible when one dares to feel differently, to believe differently, to persist in the unseen, even when the seen offers no encouragement.
That is the greatest secret of all. The courage to remain loyal to your inner reality, while the outer world is still catching up. That is the strength of manifestation. That is the heart of creation. And now you live there, effortlessly. You no longer visit the state of your wish fulfilled, you dwell in it. You no longer chase signs, you know you are the sign. You no longer seek proof, you have become the proof. And everything you now touch carries the vibration of your fulfilled mind. Every action, every word, every choice emerges not from need, but from fullness. And so, life becomes graceful. Opportunities unfold without force. People respond to the energy you carry, not the words you say. Circumstances bend to your frequency, not your efforts. You have become a vibrational match to your desires, and the law is compelled to mirror that. It cannot resist you because it is you. The outer is the echo of the inner, and you have harmonized the sound. You are the conductor of your experience now, no longer reactive, no longer delayed, no longer trapped in cycles of waiting. You are the initiator, the decider, the one who knows. And you hold this power gently, not arrogantly. You do not dominate others, you elevate them. You do not demand, you declare. You do not force, you allow. And through this allowing, you witness the majesty of the creative process at work in every moment. You begin to see everything differently. Nothing is wasted, nothing is random. Everything responds to the feeling you choose. And so you choose deliberately, not with anxiety, but with ease. Not from desperation, but from delight. You are not fixing reality, you are forming it, moment by moment, in the workshop of your soul. And the more you live this way, the more it becomes natural. The more you embody the state of already having, already being, already fulfilled, the more life reflects that back to you. You become the magnet, not the seeker, the generator, not the beggar, the creator, not the victim. And there is no going back. Once you have seen behind the curtain, once you have felt the power within your own imagination, nothing else can satisfy. You can no longer live asleep because your spirit has tasted its own brilliance. You can no longer settle for the old identity because it no longer fits. You have stepped into something larger, something eternal, something utterly unstoppable. And now you no longer wait for permission to live the life you desire because you understand that the only gatekeeper was your own mind. You give yourself permission to rise, to expand, to receive, simply because you now believe it is natural. You no longer attach virtue to struggle or pride to delay, you have divorced yourself from the belief that hard effort is the path to miracles. You've discovered something far more potent, that the energy you hold within your being is what dictates the quality of what flows to you. You are not rewarded by the universe, you are mirrored. And in that mirroring you see only yourself, your faith, your doubt, your confidence, your fear. But now your inner world is different. You have watered the garden of your mind with vision. You have planted seeds of gratitude, faith, and unwavering expectation. And so the harvest must come. It is law. You no longer ask, will it work? You know it already is. Even in moments where the old world seems to linger, you are unshaken. Because you understand the shadows are simply remnants of the old belief, fading into the brilliance of your new conviction. You do not wrestle them anymore. You bless them and let them pass. You do not look back with regret, but forward with assurance. You have trained your mind to dwell in the end, and the end becomes your beginning. You have realized that imagining from the place of fulfillment is not fantasy. It is the divine blueprint. Every time you feel yourself into the reality you've chosen, you are chiseling away the stone of limitation to reveal the masterpiece beneath. And because you persist, the masterpiece is revealed, not through time alone, but through your refusal to accept anything less than what you know within to be true. Your inner world becomes the only authority, and the outer world falls in line. You are not concerned with how others perceive you, because their opinions have no creative power in your life. You know now that their projections are merely reflections of their own states. And because you love yourself, you forgive them. Because you honor yourself, you do not shrink for their comfort. You stand in the radiance of your becoming, and those who are meant to rise will rise with you. You are not here to convince, you are here to embody, and in your embodiment, others will remember what is possible. The life you once dreamed of no longer feels distant or unattainable. It is here, it is you. And even as physical proof trickles in, you smile, not because you doubted, but because you knew. You walk through each day with a quiet joy, a reverent power, because you understand the sacred nature of your creative force. You speak differently. You listen differently. You think with intention, because you know your thoughts are not idle. They are cause. And so you guard your inner sanctuary with love and clarity, allowing only that which affirms your chosen state to remain. And when challenges arise, you do not fear them, you use them. You see every seeming obstacle as a messenger, revealing to you any lingering beliefs that are ready to be released. You bless the contrast, not because it defines you, but because it sharpens your focus. You thank the delays, not because you want them, but because they call forth deeper faith. You welcome every moment as an opportunity to choose again, to return to the end, to stand firm in the truth that what you desire is already done. And this state of being, it multiplies. The more you live from it, the more expansive it becomes. You realize that there is no ceiling, no limit to what you may express. The life you now enjoy is only the beginning. With every fulfilled desire comes new vision, and with every new vision comes the opportunity to create again. You are in a dance with the infinite, and each step is an act of love, a movement of trust, a declaration that you are not bound by what has been. You are shaped by what you assume, and you assume only the best, only the highest, only that which is worthy of the divine within you. This is your new way of life, not an effort, but a knowing, not a technique, but a natural expression. You no longer try to manifest. You simply live as one who already has. And in that living, all things are added. People appear, opportunities align. Doors open, not because you knocked, but because you arrived in the frequency of already being inside. The external world has no choice but to match the tone you consistently hold within. So you remain faithful, not to the evidence, but to the unseen knowing. You remain loyal, not to circumstances, but to the inner vision that burns within. You keep your attention fixed, your feeling alive, your assumption firm. And you do so with joy, because you have fallen in love with the process itself. No longer needing proof,
you become the proof. No longer needing permission, you become the authority. No longer waiting for a miracle, you become the miracle in motion, and in this miracle of movement, you begin to see that everything responds not to the words you speak, but to the tone of consciousness you embody. You no longer attempt to manipulate conditions or rush outcomes, because you understand that what you are being is more potent than anything you are doing. Your state is your source. Your inner tone, your emotional atmosphere, your silent assumptions, they form the invisible scaffolding upon which reality builds itself. So you give your attention to your state, you nurture it, you cultivate it with care, as a gardener tends to soil, knowing that from this soil springs every visible thing in your life. You are no longer impatient. Impatience has no place where you know it is already done. You move in rhythm with divine timing, which is not a delay but a coordination of perfect alignment. You know that each moment is unfolding with precision, according to the blueprint your inner world has projected. And because of this, you stop second-guessing. You stop revising in fear. You stop diluting your dream to fit what seems realistic. You allow yourself to want what you want, without shame, without explanation. You've come to see desire, not as weakness, but as direction. It is divine impulse, guiding you back to the self you already are. Even in stillness, you are creating. Even in silence, you are selecting. Because your awareness is active, and your focus is power. You now choose to focus only on what supports your fulfillment. You no longer entertain thoughts of lack or loss, for they are lies that no longer hold weight. You do not judge yourself for old reactions or habits, you simply rise above them. You choose again. You recalibrate, you remind yourself who you are, and return to the inner sanctuary where it is already complete. This returning becomes effortless, because the more you do it, the more familiar it becomes. And what was once effort turns into flow. You realize that everything you once chased was always chasing you. It was simply waiting for your recognition. It was waiting for you to believe, to claim, to dwell in the reality of already having. You see now that the only block was within, and now that block has crumbled under the weight of your awareness, you are free. Free to love without fear. Free to receive without guilt. Free to express without restraint. Free to manifest without resistance. You are no longer waiting to become, you are being, and in being, you draw all things unto yourself. People begin to notice something different about you. They sense the peace you carry, the certainty that cannot be shaken. They wonder how things always seem to work for you, how you walk with such ease while others struggle. But you know it is not luck. It is not chance. It is not fortune. It is the natural result of a mind in harmony with its vision. And you don't need to convince them. You simply continue to live from the end, and your life speaks louder than any explanation ever could. And when life asks something of you, you do not flinch. You respond from power, not panic. You take inspired action, not forced motion. You move as one who is already victorious, already fulfilled, already whole. And the world reflects that back to you again and again, until the evidence becomes so overwhelming that even your old doubts have no ground left to stand on. You have changed the cause, and the effect must change. That is the truth you now live from. You no longer treat imagination as fantasy. You revere it as the birthplace of reality. You trust the images you see within, because you know they are not random. They are previews of what you are ready to receive. You no longer ask, "Can I have this?" You declare, "This is mine now." And from that declaration, you rest. Not in apathy, but in assurance. Not in laziness, but in alignment. You've replaced striving with stillness, and in that stillness, all things begin to flow. You've become masterful at dwelling in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You don't visit that feeling. You remain there. It becomes the air you breathe, the light you carry, the undercurrent of your every interaction. You no longer let the five senses dictate your truth. You no longer accept lack as real. You no longer negotiate with fear. You've stepped beyond the veil, and now you see the machinery behind the visible world. You know that what appears is only ever the echo, and you've learned to speak directly into the source.
As you speak into the source with feeling, with clarity, with conviction, you do not need to shout. For creation hears the quietest whisper of a mind that knows. You've discovered that intensity is not in volume but in belief. You've realized that emotion is the carrier wave, that what you feel saturates what you imagine, and that what you imagine in feeling becomes inevitable. You no longer chase evidence because you have become the evidence. You no longer seek signs because your life is the sign. You don't look for confirmation in the world. You bring confirmation to it through the way you think, the way you feel, the way you walk. Your desires no longer feel like distant hopes. They feel like memories, inevitable remembrances of what already belongs to you. You interact with your vision not as a stranger but as a friend, familiar, intimate, already yours. The car, the house, the relationship, the opportunity, they are no longer symbols of hope. They are extensions of your state. You see them as natural, and so they arrive naturally. You allow the joy of their fulfillment to fill you now, not later. And because you have tasted the joy within, you know it must be made visible without. There is no more waiting. Waiting is for those who believe something is coming. But you live from the knowing that it is already here. You understand now that the difference between longing and having is not time but identity. You have stepped into the identity of the one who already is. And that shift has rewritten your future. No one needed to give you permission. You gave it to yourself. No one needed to change. You changed. And in that change, your entire universe rearranged itself. Every morning you rise not with anxiety but with expectation. You look not for problems but for possibilities. You walk not to escape your reality but to expand it. You understand now that life is not reacting to you, it is flowing through you. You are not a victim of the world. You are its architect. You no longer say, I hope. You say, I know. You no longer wait for things to prove themselves. You prove them with your attention, your focus, your feeling. And that feeling, steady, calm, powerful, has become your compass. Even when others speak of fear, you dwell in peace. When they see limits, you see doors. When they say that's not realistic, you smile. Because you no longer operate in the realm of what's been, you live in the realm of what's possible. And in that realm you are limitless. You don't deny reality. You supersede it. You know now that physical reality is the shadow, and you dwell in the light. You do not force reality to change. You select the version that matches your chosen vibration, and you tune into it fully, unapologetically, completely. You walk as one who is loved, favored, blessed. You no longer shrink to fit old versions of yourself, or make yourself small for the comfort of others. You've understood that your rise does not diminish them. It shows them what's possible. You shine not to boast, but to bless. And that shine comes from within, from the fire you've lit through intention, belief, and persistence. You've chosen your frequency, and you do not compromise it. You've chosen your vision, and you do not abandon it. You've chosen yourself, and in doing so everything else has aligned. This life, this moment, this breath, it is yours. You no longer live in delay. You no longer live in confusion. You live in clarity. And from this clarity, all things are drawn unto you, not by force, not by willpower, but by resonance. The old way is gone. The new has come. And in this new way you are no longer becoming. You are. You are the embodiment of the thing once longed for. You are the walking manifestation of the invisible substance that shaped itself to your awareness. You carry it in your posture, in your words, in the silence between your thoughts. And now life bends to you, not because you demand it, but because you are in harmony with its laws. You understand the divine precision behind every shift, every encounter, every so-called coincidence. You know they are not random. They are responses to the inner movement of your consciousness. So you move deliberately, gently, with complete assurance that what is yours can never miss you. You have stopped asking how, and you have fallen in love with now. The how was never yours to handle. It belonged to the unseen intelligence that knows every path, every person, every possibility. You no longer waste energy trying to figure out the mechanics. Instead, you occupy the feeling, the mood, the energy of already having it. And that is enough. You've discovered that miracles are not magic. They are the most natural result of a mind aligned with truth. A truth that says you are the source, not the seeker. You are the cause, not the effect. You are the dreamer, not the dream. Even when the outer world tries to contradict your inner knowing, you do not flinch. You understand that appearances are temporary, fleeting, incomplete. You do not let facts override your faith. You hold your state like a flame in the dark,
and that flame becomes a beacon. The world must reflect your inner conviction. That is the law. So you guard your inner world. You tend to your thoughts. You filter what you accept. You protect your attention as the sacred tool it is. And because of that, your mind has become a magnet, pulling into form all that matches your choice. And your choice is unwavering. You've chosen joy over fear, gratitude over lack, vision over memory. You've chosen the end over the middle. You've chosen to live as if it is already done. And because of that it is. You no longer shift based on circumstance, you remain anchored in your decision. That decision is not a wish. It is a creative act. It is not passive. It is the movement of power. You have assumed the posture of completion, and the world must rearrange to make it so. You don't plead, you possess. You don't hope, you inhabit. And this habitation is not imagination alone. It is embodiment. You embody wealth before it appears. You embody love before it arrives. You embody peace before it's visible. And as you do, you become undeniable. You become the answer to your own prayer. You become the manifestation of your deepest intention. You no longer seek outside what you've already established within. You've made the inner so real that the outer must comply. It is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. And when is always now. Because now is the only time your power lives. So you surrender not in weakness but in trust. You release the need to control. And you control everything by choosing the only thing that matters, your state. You return to it daily, hourly, moment by moment. You live there, you breathe there. And in that state all things are added. In that state mountains move. In that state doors open. In that state what was impossible becomes inevitable. Because the universe is not testing you, it is responding to you. Responding to your mood, your knowing, your word. And now your word is law. For it is spoken from alignment. No longer will you dilute your dreams. No longer will you ask permission. No longer will you rehearse your limits. You are finished with smallness. You are finished with doubt. You are finished with delay. You are ready. You are willing. You are able. You have seen the truth and cannot unsee it. You have tasted the power and cannot return to powerlessness. You have entered the kingdom of fulfillment and you now dwell there as its rightful heir. And from this place you create not through effort but through identity. Not through striving but through being. Not through waiting, but through allowing. So let the world respond. Let it catch up to what you already know. Let the evidence appear. Let the symbols of success, love, peace, joy, and abundance flood into your life. Not to convince you but to confirm you. For it was never about the thing. It was about the state. And now that you live in the state, the things are just the echo, the reward, the result, and you welcome them. Not with surprise but with gratitude. For you are not surprised by what you've become. You are grateful. You are certain. You are free in the truest sense because nothing binds you to what was. The past no longer holds you. The opinions of others no longer define you. You've released the need to be understood, for you have understood yourself. You've released the need to be validated. For your own awareness is the only validation that matters. You've silenced the noise of the world to hear the whisper of truth within. And that truth is always simple, always still, always sure. It tells you that you already are, that you already have, that you already know.
From this deep knowing, everything flows. Your actions are no longer scattered or desperate. They are effortless extensions of your inner vision. You no longer struggle to be seen, for you have seen yourself. You no longer chase after what you want, for you have become what you want. The moment you shifted your identity, the world had no choice but to shift in response. That is why you do not beg. You do not chase. You simply assume. You assume the position of the one who has already received. And you live from that position regardless of what your senses say. And when doubt arises, you do not argue with it. You do not try to overpower it. You simply return to your state. You turn inward, not outward. You feel the end again and again and again until it becomes more real than any appearance. You repeat the inner act until the outer world reflects it naturally. You remind yourself that nothing seen was not first imagined, and that imagination is not fantasy, it is the blueprint, it is the cause, it is the first creation, and the physical must always follow the pattern impressed upon consciousness. So you impress only what you desire. You think only what supports your new identity. You rehearse the life you have chosen, and in doing so, it becomes inevitable. You treat your thoughts as sacred tools, not idle habits. You understand the power of inner conversation, and you speak only what you want to hear. You discipline your attention not through fear, but through reverence. You know the world is a mirror, and you clean the mirror not by changing the reflection, but by changing the image it reflects, your inner image, your assumed reality. Even when things seem slow, you are unmoved. You no longer panic at the appearance of delay. You understand that time is an illusion that bends to the authority of your assumption. You know that what you have claimed in consciousness must come to pass, and that seeming delays are only the rearranging of the outer world to match the inner decree. So you remain faithful, not in desperation, but in delight. You wait, not in anxiety, but in celebration. For to wait in joy is to declare that it is already done, and that joy is the seed of every visible thing. And when the manifestation arrives, you are not shocked, you are satisfied. You are not desperate to show it to others, you are at peace, because you had it long before the world saw it. You lived in it, you walked with it, you celebrated it in the privacy of your soul. And so when it appears, it is not the beginning, it is the continuation of what you already knew. This is the secret that changes everything: to see inwardly, to feel deeply, to believe fully, and to walk boldly, to live as though it is so, even when it is unseen. And by that law, it becomes seen. You've come to understand that every moment is an opportunity to choose your reality. Every emotion is a signal. Every thought is a seed. Every word is a command. And because you now live with this awareness, you are no longer reactive. You are creative. You do not fear contrast, because contrast simply reveals your next decision. You do not run from discomfort, for it reminds you to shift. You don't fight with what is, you transcend it by selecting what will be. And that selection, made in consciousness, echoes across dimensions and brings all necessary components into harmony. So when others question you, you do not defend. When they doubt, you do not explain. When they worry, you do not join them. You've discovered the stillness in certainty. You've embraced the solitude of sovereignty. You've become the one who knows, and that knowing cannot be shaken. You are not moved by appearances. You are not ruled by circumstances. You are not trapped by time. You live by a higher law. And that law is simple: as within, so without. As you assume, so you become. As you feel, so you create. And in this creation, there is no striving, no resistance, no tension, only flow. A flow so natural, so rhythmic, that you begin to see yourself as a vessel rather than a doer. You allow the state to live through you. You allow the inner reality to express itself effortlessly in form. It may come through words, through action, through silence, through an unexpected phone call, through a subtle meeting of eyes. There is no limit to the channels through which your assumption can materialize. But you do not concern yourself with the channel. You only concern yourself with the source. And the source is your consciousness. And your consciousness is now purified. It is no longer fragmented by doubt or scattered by fear. It is whole. It is focused. It is still. In that stillness, creation takes place. In that silence, form begins to shape itself around you. You become the calm center around which all things rotate. The winds may rise around you, but they do not disturb you. The noise may try to distract you, but it cannot penetrate the clarity of your vision. You are anchored. Anchored in the feeling of already being. Anchored in the reality of already having. Anchored in the truth of already becoming. No more efforting. No more wishing. No more negotiating with reality. You have become the master of your inner world, and by that mastery, the outer world bows. You do not seek signs. You become one. You do not chase miracles. You embody them. You do not hope for change. You are the change. You no longer ask life for proof. You bring the proof through your being. Your energy speaks louder than your words. Your presence alters rooms before you say a thing. Because what you carry is not ordinary. What you carry is a chosen reality, so alive within you that life must conform to it. You have activated the divine faculty within, the creative force of imagination governed by belief. You do not merely imagine as a child plays pretend. You imagine as a creator who knows that imagination is the womb of all things. You sit in the stillness and construct your world not with hands but with vision, not with effort but with knowing. And you dwell in that vision until it becomes the only truth you recognize. You feel it until it imprints itself onto every cell of your body, until your very posture testifies of its reality, until your breath confirms its arrival. Others may not understand how you move. They may call you unrealistic, deluded, overly confident. But you know better. You are not waiting for the world's permission to be what you already are. You are not pausing your power to match their doubt. You are not dimming your light to fit into their shadows. You move as one who has seen the unseen and trusts it more than the seen. You speak with the authority of someone who has walked through the inner corridors of fulfilled dreams. You shine not to impress, but because you've removed everything that once told you to hide. And now life bends differently for you. Time feels different. Possibilities feel endless. You move through life as a co-creator, not a victim. As an artist, not a reactor. As a divine expression of limitless potential, not a bystander of fate. And in this awakened state, you inspire others, not by telling them what to do, but by being an undeniable example of what is possible when one becomes fully alive in their imagination. When one becomes fully committed to the unseen. When one surrenders completely to the inner world and lets it lead. This is the secret you now live. The inner state is the only thing you ever needed to change. The outer was only ever a reflection. And now, as you remain loyal to the state of your choosing, you realize this is not a practice. This is not a game. This is not a technique. This is who you are. This is your nature. This is your power. And no one can take it from you. Not time, not others, not fear. You are the creative force in your world, and you have chosen your reality. It is done. It is sealed. It is unfolding now. You no longer seek signs because everything around you has become a sign. The rising sun, the flowing breeze, the sound of laughter, even the silence, all affirm what you already know. The universe does not speak in coincidence. It echoes your inner conviction, and your conviction is unshakable. You have tasted the power of dwelling in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and now there is no going back. There is no room for doubt in a heart that lives in certainty. There is no vacancy for fear in a mind saturated with vision. You do not entertain conflicting images. You hold one image, one outcome, one reality, until it takes form. And should any obstacle appear, you smile. Not because you are naive, but because you are aware. Aware that what seems like opposition is only rearrangement. What seems like delay is only orchestration. You do not interpret the facts of the world as final. You see them as fluid. You understand that reality is clay in the hands of consciousness. And you are the sculptor. You mold not with your hands, but with your assumptions. You do not panic when things shift. You understand that every shift, seen and unseen, must obey your sustained feeling. So you bless every movement, even the ones that appear to oppose your desire. There is a quiet confidence that grows within you, one that cannot be taught, only experienced. It is the confidence of one who no longer looks outward for evidence, but inward for truth. It is the knowing of one who understands the game of life is played behind the eyes, not before them. You smile more, you trust more, you speak less, but when you do, your words carry power. You no longer explain yourself to those who do not understand, for you have nothing to prove. You are not interested in convincing the world. You are busy creating it, and your creation is rooted not in force, but in faith. Now you walk with the awareness that you can manifest anything, not because you are special in the eyes of the world, but because you have remembered who you are. You have remembered that the world is not happening to you, it is responding to you. Every experience is a reflection of the consciousness you hold. So you choose your state wisely. You remain there intentionally. You no longer bounce between states, between moods, between identities. You choose the end and live there. You feast at the table before it appears. You bless the outcome before it arrives. You walk as if it is already yours, because it is. You understand now that it is not about repetition alone, or technique alone. It is about embodiment, living from the state, thinking from the state, feeling from the state. You no longer ask when it will happen. You only ask, am I being it now? And if the answer is yes, you rest. You no longer interfere with the how. You release the timing, release the path, release the need to control. You are no longer trying to make things happen. You are allowing them to come forth naturally from your chosen identity. You water your assumption with trust and protect it with silence. And even when nothing seems to be changing, you do not waver. You know that the seed grows beneath the surface long before it breaks through the soil. You understand that the greatest transformations happen in secret. So you guard your secret. You hold your inner world sacred. You keep your faith alive in the silence. And in that silence, the miracle forms. You understand now why the masters were never in a hurry, why they spoke in parables, why they withdrew to pray alone. Because the true work is not loud. It is not public. It is done in the unseen realm. And it is from that realm that all things are born. You have awakened to your power. And because of this awakening, the world you once knew no longer holds sway. You do not live in reaction. You live in creation. You no longer describe the world, you prescribe it. You no longer report on what is, you declare what will be. And because you declare it with authority, it comes to pass. Your thoughts are not idle. They are builders. Your feelings are not fleeting. They are fuel. Your inner conversations are not harmless. They are commands. So you speak only what you want multiplied. You feel only what you want intensified. You think only what you want to live. This is how you manifest anything. By becoming it within. By selecting it and remaining in it. No matter what. By allowing the feeling of it to consume your being. Until nothing else feels real. When the outer world finally reflects it, you are not surprised. You do not erupt with disbelief. You do not feel like a beginner. You feel like a witness to the inevitable. Because it was never about the thing. It was never about the object, the relationship, the money, the healing. It was always about becoming the version of you who already had it. And once you became that, it had to come. So now you live differently. You wake up not with dread but with direction. You move not from fear but from freedom. You rest not from exhaustion, but from completion. Because every day is now a demonstration of your assumption. Every encounter, every experience, every outcome is a mirror of the inner world you nurture. And when something arises that does not match your inner state, you do not panic. You revise, you return, you re-enter the feeling. You do not argue with what is, you overwrite it with what must be. And what must be is what you have already assumed. There is no more confusion, no more delay, no more back and forth. You are clear, you are decided, you are unwavering. You no longer ask for what you want. You assume it. You no longer strive to get. You choose to be. And from that being, all getting becomes unnecessary. Because you draw to you what you are. You do not pursue. You attract. You do not hustle. You align. You do not wish, you declare. And what you declare within is the only law that governs your life. All else must conform to the image held in your consciousness. And so, as you stand at the edge of this knowing, understand this, you hold within you the eternal power to manifest anything. Not through effort. Not through struggle, but through alignment with the truth of who you are. Your world is not something to chase after. It is something to call forth from the depth of your imagination. You no longer beg life to change. You command it by changing yourself. You are no longer a servant to circumstances. You are the architect of them. The moment you dare to assume your desire as already fulfilled, you become the living proof of divine creation in motion. You no longer look to the world for permission. You give yourself permission to believe. to feel, to live as though it is already done. And it is, because the world mirrors your conviction, not your condition. Let your inner world be so rich, so vivid, so complete, that the outer world cannot help but yield to its image. You now walk not by sight but by inner vision. You speak not of what is but of what is becoming. You live not in waiting, but in fulfillment. And as you do, everything must rearrange itself to match the truth you now embody. This is your inheritance. This is your power. This is your time. Go forth now, not to seek but to express, not to hope, but to declare, not to react, but to create. And let every breath you take, every step you walk, and every thought you entertain, be a bold affirmation of this truth. You are the operant power. You are the cause. You are the one.